Live from the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's a special edition of The Artist Show with your host, Rocky Red Panda. This week's special guest, Podium Will FIFA World Cup. And Artist of the Week, Angst Fenwolf. Welcome to The Artist Show. I am your host, Rocky Red Panda. It is the week of April the 2nd, 2018. Time seems to be going by so fast. It seems like it was just yesterday I filmed the last episode. Well, I don't have a watch here, so who knows? Speaking of time, remember on my last show I discussed Goodwill finds? Well, I was able to visit a Goodwill yesterday, and I hit the mother load. Let's take a look at some of the things that I found. We have here Clue, 91 cents. This is Clue, the Big Bang Theory edition. We have here the Big Bang Theory edition of Monopoly. How about that? And we got plushies. Zootopia. 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 Sing. Sing. And sing. Look at all these. Well, we have some more that I can't fit in my arms, but there's so many. Oh, what the heck. The Fennec Fox. Zootopia. Zootopia. And Zootopia. Now, here is the best part. It is for me. Did I buy these items for Rocky Red Panda? No. What? Oh boy, I just did a thing from the Kathy and Hoda Lee show. Well, I guess I'm a fan of them too. Well, let me let you into a little secret. Well, it's not much of a secret, but I will call it one. All of these items were purchased for one reason, because I collect these kind of items over the year to donate to a cause. Wait, you donate? Of course I donate. Every fall, around October, I make sure to save up the items that I picked up throughout the year, and I donate them to Western Pennsylvania Furry Weekend. Wait, what is that? Well, let me tell you. Western PA Fur Weekend is held during the month of October. It started out many, many moons ago as a furry barbecue just between friends, till it got so big they had to expand and change venues and make it from 1 day to 3 days. Furries who attend this convention come from all over, including Maryland, Ohio, and many other parts of Pennsylvania, and multiple other different states I didn't mention. That's only a short list. Now, what makes WPAFW so special? Well, it's a small size con that doesn't put too much pressure on that lovely wallet you carry in your pocket, mind the flies, and allows you to interact with many different furs without having the pressure of a large convention like Anthrocon. I have been attending Western PAFW since 2012 when I first joined the fandom. This year, 2018, would mark my 5th year of attending. Now, here are a few photos that I took from last year's convention. Check it out. Now, this is cool because, as you see these photos, there's a lot of people in fursuits. I dress in fursuits, and I enjoy going so I can hang out with my various different friends. I only get to see maybe once or twice a year. So, what about your items? You mean the items that I showed you, say like this lovely Sing character? I'm going to hold on to. The items I donate go into a Chinese-style auction. People buy tickets and place them in the lots that they wish to win. Now, the money that is raised goes to help different organizations, such as 1 Year, Ferrets, And another year, we raised money for Greyhound dogs. If you wish to know more about WPAFW, you can visit them at their website, WPAFW.org, for more information. Now, this will also include, you can find convention dates, when the con hotels open for registration, when pre-registration for the convention opens, and, of course, scheduling. I hope to see you at this year's Western PAFW 2008. Represent! Woo! How about that? I got faith. Even better. Sorry about that. Continue on. It's that time again. Time for the news of the week. Here is this week's news. Zombie raccoons attack pizza, Russia meddling, and won't you be my neighbor? But let's start out with zombie raccoons. Yes, you heard me right. Zombie raccoons. An Ohio man was outside playing with his beagles when he saw the raccoon, the zombie raccoon. Wait, are zombies actual real? Ooh. Well, not to burst your bubble, but scientists and police think it may be a form of distemper. It is harmless to us humans, but to other animals, it can spread. And here I thought they were after our brains. But maybe a little bit of Glen Alla mode. For those Walking Dead fans out there. That was horrible. Moving on. Man attacks woman with pizza. Ohio man arrested after attacking girlfriend, hitting her in the face with pizza. Okay now. What's up with Ohio this week? I swear, come on. Ugh. So, evidently, a 24-year-old Ohio man was arrested late Tuesday after he attacked his girlfriend, at one point hitting her in the face with a pizza. You heard it right. Hitting her in the face with a pizza. Here is where I'd make a joke about pizza somehow. But I'm afraid it would just be too cheesy. Oh, dear God. Waiter, will my pizza be long? No, sir. It will be round. Ugh. This story brings a whole new meaning to pizza face. Oh, God. Ooh, we did not need to see that. Okay. Move on. Pretend that didn't happen. And let's continue our story. I'm going to need more Vernors for this. By the way, Vernors, the best original ginger soda. Russia sanctions will likely target oligarchs with ties to Putin. You got that right. I wasn't going to do politics, but this was too good to not. The sanctions come a few weeks after diplomats from many different nations were expelled for expelling Russian diplomats from their countries in support and backing up the UK after 2 of its citizens were poisoned. That was a mouthful. Well, at least we are Russian to see some action instead of Stalin. Oh boy. That went right over our heads. And lastly, won't you be my neighbor? 2018 marks the 50th anniversary to the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood TV show. It was 50 years ago, this past Monday, that Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood appeared on national public television. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood encouraged and supported kids and their families by educating and inspiring them, and when necessary, calm them down with their maybe fears. Here is where I become serious for a moment. When I was little, my 3 favorite shows were Barney and Friends. Barney is a dinosaur that has imagination. Sesame Street, Sunny Days, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. In each of his episodes, he would educate the children on many different topics such as recycling, how to take care of your pets, death, divorce, and how to talk to your kids about what happened with 9/11. At the time his show premiered, there was no other show like his on TV. He changed the way we see and saw things. One of my memorable episodes was when Mr. Rogers' young friend Jeff Erlinger, then 10, showed up on the show. Erlinger was a quadriplegic who showed off his electric wheelchair on the show. They then sang, "It's You I Like," together. Now, many years later, Mr. Rogers would meet up with Jeff again. In 1999, Fred Rogers was introduced into the TV Hall of Fame. Now, here is that speech from 1999. Take a listen.
Please welcome Jeffrey Erlinger. It is quite hard. I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Oh,
It is,
what a surprise.
it's an honor to be here tonight, to be part of your this proud moment. You know, when you tell people that it's you I like, we know that you really mean it. And tonight, I want to let you know that on behalf of millions of children and grown-ups, it is you that I like.
Fred Rogers would air his last episode in the 2000s, marking that he has educated many generations of children. Take a listen.
You know, it happens so often. I walk down the street and someone 20 or 30 or 40 years old will come up to me and say, "You are Mr. Rogers, aren't you?" And then they tell me about growing up with the neighborhood and how they're passing on to the children they know what they found to be important in our television work. Like expressing their feelings through music and art and dance and sports and drama and computers and writing, and invariably we end our little time together with a hug. I'm just so proud of all of you who have grown up with us, and I know how tough it is some days to look with hope and confidence on the months and years ahead. But I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are. And what's more, I'm so grateful to you for helping the children in your life to know that you'll do everything you can to keep them safe and to help them express their feelings in ways that will bring healing in many different neighborhoods. It's such a good feeling to know that we're lifelong friends.
Though in 2003 we would lose a great man, he would pass away in his home near Pittsburgh. 50 years later, we are still celebrating his life. Even before his death, Rogers was considered saint-like in the way he treated and taught people. He talked to children and adults the same way. When he listened, he looked at people's faces as if they were the only ones in the world. I want to leave you with this thought. If everyone can be Fred Rogers for a day, I think the world will be a better place. Now, before I end this segment, I wanted to include a special trailer for a new Mr. Rogers Neighborhood documentary that is being released by Focus Features, directed by Morgan Neville, and will be in theaters June the 8th. Let's take a look at it.
A television program for children made its unauspicious debut on station WQED in Pittsburgh. Its host, Fred Rogers.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
I want to tell you something.
What would you like to tell
I
me?
like you.
I like you, my dear. Thank you very much for telling me that.
You take all of the elements that make good television and do the exact opposite. You have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Low production values, simple set, unlikely star. Yet, it worked.
Hello. I've always felt that I didn't need to put on a funny hat or jump through the hoop to have a relationship with a child.
He was always trying to get a message across in every show. A week on death.
What does assassination mean?
On divorce.
Some people get married, and after a while, they're so unhappy that they don't want to be married anymore.
He was radical. I know everyone says that, but he was radical.
They didn't want black people to come and swim in their swimming pools. My being on the program was a statement for Fred.
A neighborhood was a place where, at times that you felt worried, scared, unsafe, would take care of you.
He had a singular vision of kindness and love.
Love is at the root of everything. All learning, all relationships, love or the lack of it.
Children have very deep feelings, just the way everybody does. There must be times when you do feel blue. I'm not feeling blue right now, though.
Me neither.
Won't you be my neighbor? Well, I suppose it's an invitation. It's an invitation for somebody to be close to you. The greatest thing that we can do is to help somebody know that they're loved and capable of loving.
Won't you please, please won't you be my neighbor?
And just like the title of the documentary, I ask the viewing audience, won't you be my neighbor? It is that time again. Time for the Artist of the Week. This week's artist is a guest we had on our very first episode of The Artist Show. We called her Miss Hannah, but in the fandom she goes by Angst Fenwolf. Boy, that's a mouthful to say. Now, Angst Fenwolf's style is unique, as in it's not like the other fur artists that you see out there. I am speaking to my style of art, which when I do the comparison, as she only does traditional and doesn't really do digital. This is an advantage, as each one of her works has this unique, personalized touch. Well, let's take a look at one of the works that she drew of her mate, Coaster T. Fox. As you can see, she used this thick outline done in pencil and then lightly colored in with minimal shading. In my opinion, this is fantastic. And now let's take a look at another one of her works she did, entitled Nameless, which is a Dutch angel dragon. Her lines are a lot darker, as you can see, and her use of color is spot on. Now, you're probably thinking Nameless. By Nameless, that is the persona's name of the version she did the art for. You will also see, if you look down here in the corner of each of her works, the Triforce pendant symbol in the corner of all of her artworks. Kind of like a signature hallmark of sorts, which is pretty nifty. Like when I take my rubber stamp and I stamp my chop. Now, if you wish to know more about Angst Fenwolf, you can check out her art and maybe get a commission from her by visiting her Tumblr at Lone Wolf 96 fan. Yeah, I butchered that, but it's down below. Now, if you have Telegram, which most in the fandom do, you can hit her up at Angst Fenwolf. If you wish to be a featured artist on this show, you can send an email to pandadigital85@gmail.com. Again, that is pandadigital85@gmail.com. Well, we have a special show for you this week. This week's show, we bring you FIFA World Cup 2008. Go! Originally, it was going to be just one person, but we decided if we are going to do this right, we have to do it right. So we have our special guests, Pony and Will, who are two football experts, and they will be making their 2018 World Cup predictions. And I think we have a little challenge between the both of them, which you will find out a little bit later. Nothing like an unhealthy challenge to make it even better. But before we get into FIFA World Cup, I want to reintroduce a show that I used to do a while back. In 2015, I took a trip across the East Coast entitled The East Coast Trip, and filmed it for a documentary series which will be shown on this channel in many episodes. So far, you have seen episode 1. Now, during that same time, I decided to go a step further and do a YouTube travel show entitled The Weekend Travelers, bringing insight into things you can do within a day trip or an overnight trip. Like my saying, think outside the bus. But like all things I do, I burnt up pretty quickly. So the show ended with its last episode in 2016, with only about 6, 7, or 8 shows. It is now 2018, and with the arrival of a new talk show, I figured what better way than to reintroduce what I call the Weekend Travelers with a brand new episode. In this episode, I will be showing you around my backyard, Franklin County, Pennsylvania, and the many things you can do. So, without further ado, here is Weekend Travelers. So hello folks, this is Rocky Red Panda, host of the Artist Show. Now, we're going to go have some fun. We're going to go see some sights, and we're going to do some things in this lovely video. So, where we end up, who knows? But I think I have an idea. We're going to go enjoy the best of what Franklin County has to offer. I'm going to spend the next few days checking out lovely Franklin County, and we'll see. So I am at the James Buchanan Birthplace National Park or Memorial, however you want to call it, outside here in Fort Loudon, Pennsylvania. A little history lesson about James Buchanan. James Buchanan was the first and only president from Pennsylvania. What I mean by first, as in the only president from Pennsylvania. Now, he was president of the United States before the Civil War. Now, he really was not a good president, as most people would say. He really didn't do much as president. He only made room for when Abraham Lincoln took over the reins. He was the only president to have not been married in his White House time, which, you think about it, pretty cool. Now, he was a fantastic lawyer, but he lacked as president. Now, in front of us here is the James Buchanan Memorial Park. Now, this is a lovely mausoleum, or this is a memorial. He is not buried here. This was built in his honor. Now, notice that it looks like almost like a Masonic style building. The monument itself behind here was erected and helped built by Harriet Rebecca Lane, youngest daughter of James Buchanan's sister. Now, this monument was purchased on 18.5 acres of land, which is this lovely park around us, and started in 1906. Construction on the monument didn't begin until 1907. Now, the monument itself was finished March 22nd, 1911, and donated to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, making this the first gift of land to the state park system. This monument is to mark the birthplace of James Buchanan himself. Now, this James Buchanan Birthplace Park is again located outside of Fort Loudon, Pennsylvania, or if you want to call it Mercersburg, because Mercersburg is really James Buchanan, and it looks amazing. It's his very historical town, home to Mercersburg Academy. But there's a lot of other things to do inside Mercersburg. I wish I could take you to Mercersburg today, but we have a long list of things we have to do for this video, so we're just going to continue on. And let's head to our next location. But before we do, I just want to show you this. As you can see, look at all this lovely scenery, including this river. I think this is very fitting for Mr. James Buchanan. Alright, you guys, we're at our next location. Now, mind, I have a little cheat sheet here. We're at Fort Loudon, which is in the village of Fort Loudon. It is a provincial British fortification. Fort Loudon was built in 1756 when the county settlers were British subjects. It was the supply base for the British during the campaign to oust the French from Fort Duquesne, which is in Pittsburgh. What is noted as the site of colonial rebellion by James Smith and the Black Boys, which is basically inspired the 1939 classic Allegheny Uprising with John Wayne. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this fort. It looks like it may not be open, but we can definitely walk around the outside. We'll talk a little bit more about what it would have been like back in the 1756. Alright, so following the defeat of General Everett Braddock's army of British and colonial forces during the Battle of Monticello on July 9th, 1755, the Pennsylvania-Maryland frontier became vulnerable to Indian raids launched from the French Fort Duquesne. which is now Pittsburgh. You should know that by Point Park. And the Delaware Village, Kittening. I'm actually reading off of this little thing down here because this is interesting. Now, Indian raids against Conecuh Valley began in the fall of 1755, and over the next 3 years, the local population was terrorized by killings and the attacks on perhaps as many as 400 settlers. Yes, in addition to many small private settlements, forts that were erected in the region. Fort Loudon was constructed in November 1756 to replace the nearby Fort McDowell as a supply depot and to provide protection for local settlers. Now, you have to think about that. This is during the French and Indian War. George Washington was fighting with the British at the time. He was a small commander. He wasn't as big. And of course, we all know what happens to Colonel Braddock. So we do not need to talk about that history. But during the summer and fall of 1758, though, the fort served as a depot for supplies for Forbes' campaign and as a staging area for British and provincial units marching west. It later served as an important communication link along the Forbes Road during Pontiac's Rebellion of 1763. In 1765, James Smith, a local resident, led a group of settlers to stop the shipment of Indian trade goods and ammunition by unsurplusing traders despite direct British orders against it. Several confrontations occurred, which forced the eventual British withdrawal from the fort in November of that year. So, this action by Smith and the settlers of the Conecuh is often considered one of the first acts of resistance that led to the American Revolution in 1775. I just want you to think on that. A rebellion happening way before the American Revolution, right about the time of the French and Indian War. This fort back here, which is probably a reproduction, is what the fort would have looked like. Unfortunately, I cannot go inside, but a little bit of French and Indian War history, which I think is pretty interesting. Now, who were the people that taught the Indians how to scalp? The British. The British taught them that lovely trade by taking a little hatchet and going right above the head. You were lucky if you survived a Indian scalping. Now, I was going to take you to the first location, but unfortunately that is closed for the season. It opens up in a few weeks. But what happened there was a headmaster and 11 of his school children were scalped to death by Delawarean Indians, a total of 4. And during that heated battle, only one survived because he was able to duck his head into cold spring water, which is nearby, and that's how he was able to survive. Now, the headmaster himself pleaded for the release of the children, but the Indians said no. The Indians basically scalped him and scalped all of his 11 children as well, minus one who would be able to survive that horrible massacre. But this brings to light about history of the French and Indian War, and of course this area, what we call Franklin County. So let's continue on our tour, and let's go check out some more cool spots. The next location we're going to be headed to is right down from Fort Loudon. It's a city called Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Now, Chambersburg by itself is an historic city. But let's talk a little bit about what we know about Chambersburg. The most famous is, of course, you have the burning of Chambersburg, which happened during the Civil War. They came back up from Virginia, the Confederates did, and they burnt down Chambersburg. So some of the things actually survived, including a jail, which we will try to get into today. Now, that jail was where they held some of the people that did John Brown's raid. Now, they were able to catch them before they made their way down to Harper's Ferry. And then right next door, or down the road from that, is the house where John Brown would keep some of his ammunitions and supplies and whatnot before doing John Brown's raid. They restored that house into a beautiful historic landmark. So we'll try to go in and check that out as well. So welcome to Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. But let's do a little history lesson here. We're standing on the site of the homecoming, which is the statue that you see in front. It's called Chambers Fort. Now, Chambers Fort was American Revolution joined June 1775 after skirmishers at Lexington and Concord. The Continental Congress authorized the formation of the first American Army. Franklin County Volunteers, under the leadership of Captain James Chambers, son of the founder, formed Company A of Thompson's Rifle Battalion and joined with other Pennsylvania companies for the 450-mile march to Boston. Accompanying Captain James Chambers was his 11-year-old son, Benjamin, who fought alongside the men of Company A at the Battle of Bunker Hill and throughout the Eastern campaigns of the American Revolution. Now, the statue that you see here in front of me was dedicated in 2007, excuse me, which is pretty cool. It talks about the homecoming of those men who came back fighting for American freedom and rights. The area where I'm currently at, this area where the statue is the location of Fort Chambersburg, which was a fort built by Benjamin Chambersburg. He was the founder of it. Now, I showed a little video before this, a clip of a water wheel. That is a reproduction of the original water wheel that Benjamin would have used at this location. It's pretty cool. School? I'm not in school, but I'm schooling you. It's a pretty cool location to be at. Very historic. Because all of this is right in my backyard. And now I'm playing tacky tours for the day. But I'm also showing you some cool places to visit. So when you're in Chambersburg, make sure you stop by the area of Fort Chambersburg, visit the statue. It's a cool thing to see. But let's travel on, shall we? To visit a place in Chambersburg called the John Brown House. But unfortunately, the house was not open today, which is quite okay. But I'll give you a little history. I did take some video that you saw and intermingled. Now, the John Brown House is a boarding house where John Brown stayed on his way down to Harper's Ferry. Pretty cool to think that he stayed at that boarding house. And they redid the boarding house and renovated the house to look exactly as it did back during John Brown's time in the 1800s, which is pretty cool. Now, if you know a little bit about John Brown, you know about John Brown's raid. Now, he was the first person. He was an abolitionist, but not really an abolitionist. He was more of a one of those radical abolitionist people that decided let's try to use the force of can't think right now. My brain is dead. Use force, that brute force, exactly. Use brute force weapons and fight for freedoms and arm all of the slaves, free and not free, which is what he did. And then he made his attack on Harper's Ferry, as you know, and he was stuck in what you call the arms house, the armory, and he held himself up, and then he was caught and hanged. That's a little brief story of John Brown's raid. So this house in Chambersburg plays somewhat a partial role in that whole escapade, where this is where he stayed, and this is where he boarded on his way to Harper's Ferry. Pretty cool. Okay, so we got one more place we're gonna check out. It's been on a list of things that I wanted to see. It's not really in Franklin County, but we're gonna add it to this list anyways. I'm gonna leave it as a little surprise. Now, this is a little bit of history. Now, for those that don't know Civil War history, I'm gonna be learning something as well, along with you guys. So we're gonna go check out a little secret place that not many people know. So let's go have fun. So we are here at a place called Monterey Pass. Now, this was a very confusing battle that took place on the evening of July the 4th, 1863, during the Confederates' retreat back to Virginia. As is foretold, on the evening of July the 4th, 1863, one of the most confusing battles of the American Civil War occurred, known as the Battle of Monterey Pass. Around 9 p.m., Union cavalry under the command of General Judson Kilpatrick came in contact with Confederate 1st Army Cavalry, Maryland, Company B, under Captain George Emack. Captain Emack had a small detail guarding the approach to Monterey Pass, reinforced by one cannon from Captain Tanner's battery. Exactly. Darkness set in during a blinding thunderstorm when the Confederate artillerists opened fire upon the Union cavalry. As the confusion subsided, the Confederates charged, pushing Kilpatrick back. The Confederates fell back to Red Run, where the battle would be waged for several hours. Throughout the night, the battle was carried out in between flashes of lightning and muzzle flashes. Fighting spilled over to Fairfield Gap, as well as Latorsburg, Maryland. By 3:30 a.m. on July the 5th, the Union cavalry successfully reached the turnpike where a Confederate wagon train was located, capturing and destroying 7 miles worth of wagons and taking 1,000 prisoners as they moved towards Ringgold, Maryland. At Latorsburg, another 2 miles worth of wagons were destroyed and several hundred prisoners were taken. The Union cavalry lost 75 men during the battle. By dawn, the battle was over, and the Confederate army continued using Monterey Pass as part of its retreat from Gettysburg. The Union cavalry moved to Smithsburg, Maryland, where they were attacked by Confederate General Jeb Stuart. From there, the Union cavalry fell back to Boonesboro, Maryland, where they arrived shortly after midnight on July the 6th, 1863. So this was a battle that took place during the retreat of the Confederates from Gettysburg on July the 4th. As you can see there in the back, that is their museum. Of course, the museum is not open, but you have a little trail, as you can see where my fingers are pointing, right back there, where you have the playground area. And that is the Monterey Pass Trail. Now, it will take you during this confusing battle of what exactly happened here. This plays a small, crucial role in the Confederates' retreat from Gettysburg. Even though it seemed that it was a Union victory and they destroyed a lot of wagons, still, this is a battle that's worth remembering. Now remember, the Union trailed in victory, and they were able to capture 1,300 Confederate prisoners and destroying a lot of their wagons. Now that is something the Union trailed for, but as you know, this would play their downfall as the Confederates would slowly lose the Civil War itself, because Gettysburg was a crucial point. Once they lost Gettysburg, they would be slowly falling down like dominoes. Well, of course, I think we know how the Civil War ended. You know, Sherman, as we know, went down. He did a lot of ravaging and pillaging. Grant did the push and shove movement. And it ended with the signing of a document in Appomattox Court, Virginia, with General E. Lee signing the other side. We had a fantastic day. This is what I call the Weekend Travelers 2.0. As in, I haven't done it in a while, but this is pretty cool. We checked out some of the sites to see in Franklin County. We didn't check them all out because there's a lot more to see and do. I just did a few of the highlights, and we even got food along the way. So, with all else, have fun during your travel, because this is something you do in a day, and you can see all the things I saw. Check out the links and visit their websites and all that good stuff. And with all else, think outside the bus. Until next time. Wasn't that episode great? It felt great to be back at doing what I love, history and traveling. Now you can catch new episodes of Weekend Travelers on this channel monthly. But let's get back and go introduce our guests for the show. I've known both of them for a very long time. Their love of football is outstanding. I went to visit them at a friend's house, so we filmed this segment on location. So let's get right into FIFA World Cup 2018 with Pony and Will. So we're here with Mr. Pony and the other half, Will, and we're going to be here trying take two of this whole FIFA thing and this World Cup 2018. So
hi, folks.
Let's go ahead and do our thing. So
all right.
Okay.
Here's where we will differential. Like I said, Uruguay's going to get first in the group, and Puerto Rico's going to get second.
I'm the same thing also.
But Uruguay is going to get one goal, and Portugal's going to get 0, which makes Uruguay advance.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because Suarez is going to cheat at some point in this World Cup.
Should I just glue it on?
You just do all of them, and
right.
We'll glue them one at the end of this.
France, C1 and D2 play each other. So France is going to be out of Group C, and Croatia is going to be the runner-up out of Group D. France is just too good. France is going to beat Croatia 3-0. They're just too good. Griezmann's so good. Group B winner and Group F runner-up are going to play each other. I'm from Mexico. Go Mexico, but sadly Mexico's going to get defeated. 2-0 Brazil against Mexico. And then Group G winner and Group H runner-up. Belgium's going to beat Poland 2-1. Because Lewandowski is good and we'll get a goal, but they have Hazard. Belgium has Hazard, so that's not going to give much chance. Spain and Egypt. Group B winner and Group A runner-up. Spain's going to thrash Egypt on a 4-0. Egypt got lucky to get out of the group, but that's about it. Group D winner and Group C runner-up. This game was already played in the qualifying, and they both drew 0-0. But I think Brazil has something to, Argentina has something to prove. Messi has something to prove in this World Cup. So Messi's going to beat Peru with Argentina at 2-0. Group F winner. And Group
E runner-up.
Yeah, Group E runner-up. Germany is just too good. Costa Rica's not going to have it. It's going to be a thrashing 3-0. Because Germany won't win that game. They're going to probably just not play as strong as they need to, because they're going to win it. And then Group H winner and Group G runner-up. I say Colombia will beat England. England's going to be awful in this one. They're lucky to get out of the group. It's going to be a 1-0 to Colombia.
Okay, you can go ahead and paste yours on. You can talk about them. Your picks and why you picked which team.
I pick Uruguay to beat Portugal, because Uruguay has Cavani, has Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez has been amazing with Barcelona. You got Cavani, who's been amazing with PSG.
So you don't even think Ronaldo is going to score a goal?
He will do good, but I think if they just stop Ronaldo, Portugal's nothing. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. He did nothing against them. In the final of the Euro, it was all Eder who made him win.
But they just proved that they were champions of Europe.
There you go. I agree.
Yeah, but without Ronaldo playing, so it really doesn't make a difference if Ronaldo plays or not.
So Portugal won Europe the Euro 2016, and you have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 other European teams advancing into your quarterfinals, but Portugal is not one of them.
Right.
And Ronaldo will be healthy.
So you think. My other one that I think is going to be an easy game to predict. It's going to be Spain and Egypt. Spain's just too good. They have Iniesta. They have Diego Costa.
Well, but we do have one person that chimed in saying, I pick Brazil. I think Brazil is going to win the World Cup.
Hey, that's not a bad prediction. It's not.
Because Brazil does have a good team this year. I mean,
Brazil was in danger of not qualifying for the World Cup, but then they got their act together and just qualified with like 4 or 5 games left in the South America qualifying and just destroyed everyone.
And do you think that they can win the World Cup without Neymar, though?
Neymar will be healthy enough to play. Just putting it out there.
Possibly.
Well, we'll have to see how fast he can recover.
How did he play against Germany in the 7-1 defeat?
He wasn't even in there.
Exactly. Can Brazil win the World Cup without Neymar?
This year, I think they can. Paulinho's game has been stepping up. Argentina and Peru, they tied 0-0 when they played the qualifying. Peru played really defensively, played really beautifully on the counterattack. But Argentina's just going to be too good in this World Cup, and Messi's going to have something to prove and needs this. This is probably his last chance to make it. If not, he has one more.
So we got Brazil, we got Argentina, and we have possibly
and Colombia.
We have possibly Germany. Germany, and they won last year, but we have
Colombia and England. England has been very disappointed in the previous World Cups. I just think England. I don't know. I just think Colombia can beat England.
To me, Spain or Portugal, whoever wins Group B will have the easiest opportunity to get to the quarterfinals. Whoever comes out of A2, Group A, is going to be awful.
Okay, so your turn. Your turn.
You're missing Uruguay.
You're missing Uruguay.
You're in my way.
So who do you think's better, Ronaldo or Suarez?
Oh, definitely Ronaldo, but I think I think Suarez is more of a goal poacher. Ronaldo is just.
Ronaldo can carry a team on his back.
So can Suarez. Don't forget that thrashing against
I don't know.
Don't get that thrashing against England.
Suarez needs a ref.
But who does Portugal have besides Ronaldo?
I don't know. It looked like they had a team in Euros. All right. So we'll go on to my side. So this is my bracket. I have Spain winning Group B against Russia. Russia.
You know, Spain is a good team, so that's a given.
Spain is going to win this pretty easily. 2-0.
Okay.
Spain is going to advance.
Cool.
Argentina over Denmark is pretty easy. Argentina will win 2-1. This game won't be as close as the score says. Denmark's going to get a late-headed goal and make it a game.
Christian Eriksen is good. I will give him that. He might get the header.
Denmark is going to beat Switzerland 2-0. Germany isn't that great going forward, but their defense is very hard to break down.
And like you said, their B team won the Confederations Cup, so.
Yes. Colombia, England, for all you England fans out there, this will make you happy. They're going to win 2-1, and they're going to get that second goal in extra time. Slide back.
See, that's what my prediction is, an extra time, but Colombia will win.
Portugal is going to beat Uruguay 2-1. I think Ronaldo is going to show he's the best player in the world in that game. France is going to beat Croatia 1-0. Brazil is going to thrash Mexico 3-0.
Which I agree with him there.
And Belgium will beat Poland 1-0.
Oh,
it's very hard to score in World Cup games after the round of six, or after group stages.
Because the group stages, you got the team who barely made it, and like the Asian teams or the Middle Eastern teams weren't that good, you know. So why do you predict some of these?
So what's
So I'll go match by match.
Okay.
Belgium, I think, just has too much talent. Their midfield is pretty good. De Bruyne was possibly going to be EPL Player of the Year this year. They have Hazard, who's been the EPL Player of the Year.
Okay.
They have a lot in the midfield, much more than Poland does.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I will be right back.
Portugal is going to beat Uruguay. Like I said, Ronaldo, best player in the world. Germany just is completely stacked.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. Germany will be in at least the quarterfinals.
All right.
England over Colombia. I think Colombia got very lucky last World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And they barely qualified this World Cup until the last day.
All right.
England did struggle, but I think England has the more overall talent, plus they'll have youth.
So for those that are now joining, we are discussing FIFA World Cup 2018 predictions, which will be live from Russia. And we have our lovely board. We just heard from Pony, and now we're hearing from the other half, Will, talking about who thinks is going to win what bracket. We're going to have this bracket done, and we're going to check things out. So right now, England and Germany, who's going to win?
Brazil is going to destroy Mexico. Brazil is just so good overall.
I agree with you. Brazil is a good team.
Brazil, I think, is everyone's favorite right now to win it all.
Yeah, they are the favorite.
Personally, I don't think it's just Neymar, Coutinho, and everyone else. Oscar, Willingen, their defense. Argentina, there's no doubt about it. They're going to beat Denmark. Unless Messi gets hurt, there's no way Denmark will.
Well, if Messi gets hurt, there goes the team for Argentina.
I don't know. You do got Pablo Dybala.
Well, yeah, okay, we got an instigator back there. And of course, Zan is still saying, I picked Brazil.
But I heard, guys, I heard Pablo Dybala might even go to the World Cup. Messi doesn't even want him to go.
Ah.
Because they don't play well together. They don't.
Spain is going to beat Russia by a landslide. It's not even going to be close. Spain will probably have more goals than Russia does shots.
Okay.
And if Russia does get any shots, De Gea is just going to stop them all.
He's so good.
He's the best keeper in the world. And he probably will go to Madrid this summer. France, I think this will be their toughest game so far against Croatia. But I think they'll find a way to win.
Oh, right.
You want me to keep going?
Well.
Or you want to go?
Did you know put your scores?
Yeah.
No, like who's gonna?
I didn't do that yet. I just had them advance.
They just advance.
Oh, you should say your scores.
So you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Say the scores.
Oh, and let's give a shout out. Hello, Jimmy Smith. You're now watching. We're talking FIFA World Cup 2018.
I know, Jimmy, you're not interested because you'll say it's not in it, but come on. You got to watch this. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be one of the best things ever.
Portugal versus France. France is going to win. They just have more quality players. Portugal, it's just Ronaldo. I say 2-1. Ronaldo will score their goal, but it won't be enough.
Okay.
Brazil and Belgium. I think this is going to be a great game. There's going to be lots of goals.
Mm-hmm.
And Belgium will win 3-2.
Who's that?
Jimmy.
Who's that?
Okay.
He just said hello.
Spain versus Argentina. Pony's gonna not like me for this, but Spain will beat Argentina. They're just too good.
Don't count out Messi though. If Messi is healthy and plays amazingly, things can happen. Just say, look up Messi's skill. Messi takes on defenders on YouTube, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Hello,
Messi
Jimmy.
plays with a lot of the people in Spain, so they're gonna know how to shut him down.
That is true. I will give him that. That is true.
Now, if Messi were to somehow become disabled and became injured, and then...
Germany versus England. Germany will beat England.
Okay. Yep.
2-1. It's not really gonna be close. England's gonna get a goal towards the end of the game, and Germany's gonna move on to the semis.
Beautiful.
So I'll go over these.
Just keep going the whole thing.
You want to go over the whole thing?
Yeah. We should have gone back from the beginning.
Doesn't matter. Spain will beat Argentina. They just have so much more quality in their team. And if it does come down to a penalty shootout, I'll take De Gea over Argentina's keeper any day.
Yeah, Romero is not that good. He's not that great, but
Germany, how can you bet against them?
they're not going to beat it. They're not going to lose against England. Come on. Who's England's goalkeeper? Hart? He might not even play. Who's Dan Perry?
Dan Perry's a friend of ours, a friend of mine from Pittsburgh, so we're just going to give a shout out to Dan.
You don't know what you're talking about. Spain's great.
Belgium is going to beat Brazil. Sorry, Dan.
Well, it looks like Brazil just got out. That's his prediction. Belgium's going to beat Brazil.
I think that game could go any way, to be honest.
Yeah, it could. I mean, they're two great teams. I mean.
And I think right now he's picking on Spain because Neymar's injured. He might not even be able to make it to the World Cup. Let's hope so. Let's hope he's healthy.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
His team PSG really doesn't need him right now, so it could be Spain. It could be he could be healthy and come back.
I'm also going France over Portugal.
Okay.
One player is not going to win a World Cup. You have to have a whole team to win a World Cup.
You mean France over Belgium?
No, France over Portugal.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get to that one yet.
Right, sorry.
So my final four is Spain, Germany, France, and Belgium. So my fourth place team.
Oh. We already had someone saying Belgium will lose. Thank you, Mr. John Stark. That's another friend of ours. John Stark is from Michigan, home to Verners.
Does he know about soccer?
A little bit.
Spain will finish fourth.
Okay, Spain will finish fourth.
So that means Germany will advance to the final. This is going to be a good game.
All
It's
right.
going to be 1-0.
Germany over France.
Now just remember, guys, these are predictions. We don't know if any...
We could totally be completely wrong, and both of us, which would be a shocker.
But Germany will go far.
Yeah, one of us is gonna be more accurate than the other, but
Germany will go far, Brazil, Belgium will go far, France definitely.
most of our teams will make it to the round of 16 at least, or the quarterfinals.
Pretty much anyone from the round of the quarterfinals on can win the World Cup.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's anybody's game. This is not like the Champions League or any other tournament where you have a home and away leg. This is one shot and you're done. So you gotta play your best.
Belgium will finish third. They will beat Spain in the third, fourth place game.
Belgium is getting better, by the way. So I would agree. I could see that happening.
That means France will play Germany in the World Cup final. And France is going to beat Belgium 2-1.
All right.
And I guarantee you one of those goals is going to Meg Courtois.
And who's gonna score it? Griezmann, probably.
So I'm down to France versus Germany.
Okay.
I think France probably has the better athletes, but Germany can just pass, and they're just so good. Germany is going to win the World Cup.
So, we're predicting for Will's side, Germany will win the World Cup for a second straight year. Because as we know, they won the World Cup last year.
In 2014.
And in 2014.
Which is technically last year, if you're talking in World Cup years.
Yep, World Cup years.
But, and the only team who ever won it back-to-back was Brazil back in like the 60s or 70s, somewhere like there. Brazil's the only team who's ever won it back-to-back.
There you go, Dan. Brazil's the only team that's ever won it back-to-back.
And Brazil's the only team who has 5 World Cups in history. Followed by Italy, who sadly has 4 and didn't qualify.
Germany will win 2-1 over France. Thomas Müller is going to score both. And Mbappe is going to score their 1. Germany has 4 World Cups.
Yeah. So Italy and Germany both have 4 World Cups. So if Germany wins the World Cup, they will tie the record of 5, which is held by Brazil.
So my final 4 is Spain 4, Belgium 3, France 2, and Germany number 1.
All right, so take a look at this. This is Will's final board. So boom, boom, and bada bing, bada boom. But let's finish off with Pony's side here, because he has a few blank spaces.
Alright, mine is a little different though.
Let's see.
I have mine. We're completely opposite on this. I have Uruguay beating Portugal 1-0, which he has Portugal winning. I have France beating Croatia 3-0. I also, in the quarterfinals, I have France beating Uruguay. I have France beating Uruguay 2-0. I think France is so good. I have Brazil and Mexico. I have Brazil winning at 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Belgium beating Poland 2-1. I have Brazil beating Belgium 2-1. We have Spain beating Egypt 4-0. And Argentina beating Peru 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game where I could see it going either way. If Messi has something to prove here, if Messi can pull it out, Spain's so good. They know how to play against Messi because pretty much it's Barcelona and Madrid, in Atletico Madrid. So
you said Argentina and Peru has tied 0-0 both times in World Cup qualifying, right?
No. The last time they played in the World Cup qualifying, they tied. Argentina beat them before.
So if they tie 0-0 this time and take Argentina penalties, could Peru win?
Technically they can, but I just think Messi is going to be in this game. He's going to be on this game. And like I said, Spain and Argentina, it's going to come down to the wire. It's probably going to go to extra time, and Messi's going to do something brilliant and beat Spain 1-0 in extra time.
Huh.
And then we got Germany beating Croatia, Costa Rica 3-0, and I'm sorry England, but Colombia's going to beat England 1-0, and Germany and Colombia are going to play, but Germany's so good, they're going to get a massive 3 goals on Colombia. Just like that. So, my predictions are.
I think some good team is going to lose in the round of 16 on penalties, though.
Yes.
Just who is it going to be? We don't know.
We can only take our best guess.
It could be the Brazil-Belgium game. They could end up going to penalties, and that could be.
Well, Brazil-Mexico could go to penalties. I would take Ochoa over Brazil's keeper.
I would too. So in the semifinals, we got France. And they have a matchup against Brazil. Then on the other side.
So Neymar versus
Griezmann.
And Mbappe, who he's teammates with currently.
Yeah. So on the other side, we've got Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
which Will doesn't have them passing more than quarterfinals.
I do not think they're going to advance.
Blue did. What that was.
Yeah, be careful there with the glue in your hands.
We got Argentina in the semifinals against our powerhouse.
A lot of these quarterfinal games feel like World Cup games, like World Cup final games.
Right. Which any other group, if the groups were totally set up different, it could happen. I think this is one of the World Cups that got the toughest group draws after knockout stage draws during the round of 16.
But we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The only teams we don't have the same in the quarterfinals are Colombia and England and Uruguay, Portugal. I have Portugal advancing, so we're pretty close on our picks.
And we got on the other side, like I said, Argentina and Germany. We have Brazil and France. Brazil's been doing great. France was a deception in the Euros. Brazil was a deception in the last World Cup, but I think Brazil's doing so good. If Neymar's healthy and wins and plays, it's going to be 2-1 Brazil. Argentina and Germany. That was the World Cup final of the 2014 World Cup. Argentina could have won it with a amazing pass from Messi, but Higuain missed it. And in extra time, Germany won. Who scored that goal? Götze scored that goal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think Messi can change the game by himself. He's proven he can. It's gonna be.
I think this Germany team's even much better than 2014's Germany.
It's gonna be a 1-0 in extra time.
So you have 2 South American teams advancing to the final.
Yep.
I have all 4 of my finalists, the final 4 for me, all 4 are from Europe. He has 2 from Europe and 2 from South Africa.
In the final we got Brazil,
South America,
Brazil,
and Argentina. And if you're going based off of qualifying, you have to say Brazil is going to beat Argentina the way they played.
But qualifying is just qualifying, though. A whole different ball game is the World Cup. You have months of preparation, months of all this other stuff. You could have qualified beautifully and then be like, well, or somebody could get injured, like Neymar got injured now. Somebody could get injured by then, and your team's totally different. Qualifying does mean something, but it's not everything.
So you want to pull it up?
No.
Oh, you need 30.
Yeah, the third place team, third and fourth place in the game is France.
France and Germany.
Like I dropped my sticker somewhere.
I don't see it.
Oh, here we go. You have another one. Thank God. I need one more.
I think there's 5 viewers.
Yeah, there is.
5 what?
5 viewers. Who's watching?
Oh, for those that are joining, this is, we're talking FIFA World Cup 2018 predictions with Will and Mr. Pony over here, who's busy gluing stuff. And 5 went down to 2 viewers, but that's okay. For those that are watching this through YouTube, this is a live recording that was recorded live for Facebook. So you're catching all the blitz and bloops. Now don't mind, the other camera decided not to record or stop working, but that's okay. We got everything live, so I'll figure out how to do all the video editing later, because that's what I do best.
He will put a link up if you guys missed it. I mean, it is live. After the edits, you can still rewatch it, but he'll put it on his YouTube channel.
Exactly.
You just putting in your champion now?
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. We got the semifinals now. You got France and Brazil.
No, you have the finals.
Yeah,
And you're
like I
two
said,
and four.
France beats Brazil. Brazil beats France 1-0, and Germany loses I guess Argentina 1-0. So that leaves us with a third place group. Third and fourth place teams. France and Germany it's going to be a good battle. It's going to be a good team, a good game. But I just think Germany is too good over France. They're more collective play. It's going to be a 2-1 Germany, which gives Germany the third place winner. They get, technically, if you look at it as Olympics, it's the bronze medal. Now we have the grand final: Brazil versus Argentina. Neymar versus Messi. They've already played each other. They're from the same South American qualifier, so they play each other a lot. But I think Argentina's like I said, Messi has something to improve. It's going to be Argentina 1, Brazil 0, and Argentina's going to be your reigning champions.
So who's the two viewers right now?
The two viewers are the ones that have been there. We have our lovely Dan Herring from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who is insisting that Brazil is going to win the World Cup.
So which bracket do they think is going to win the jersey?
Well, let's see. What bracket? Well, it's whatever has Brazil, probably. Yeah, he says Brazil. Brazil.
But Brazil is losing the World Cup against Argentina.
Well, we have 4 viewers right now, so for those that are tuning in, we have the 2 brackets. We have...
Hold it up.
We have Will's side, and then we have Pony's side. Now, one side is saying Germany's going to win the World Cup for a second straight year in a row. Now, Pony's side, on the other hand, has... which team did you choose? Argentina, of course. Argentina, because it's Messi. And one of the best players for FC Barcelona. No. Yeah.
So who do you guys think bracket will win the jersey?
Read it.
Tammy Signor says, I take Will's.
Of course you're going to start with your son.
What about the other viewers?
No offense there, Tammy.
This is mine.
So Will's mom will take Will's side. Where's my bracket? Well,
who's that?
Well, my friend from Michigan. Well, I don't have a bracket yet, but as soon as I have one, I will be putting it on my show. But we're talking with these 2 guests here. So, because they're the ones that are going to be winning a jersey. Whoever decides whoever bracket wins. Because people that joined, let me explain. So they made a little bet.
You guys can rewatch the show when it's over, so don't worry if you missed it.
Yep, so they made a bet. Whoever's bracket wins has to buy the other...
We're not bracket wins, because we could be totally honest. It's the bracket who gets the most points.
The bracket who gets the most points has to buy
Unlike March Madness, it's just all about who gets more points.
Buy the other person's a jersey.
They're choosing for no more than $100.
Well, so it looks like we have one for Will. Now, let's see. Who do I choose? Well, I'm going to be quite honest. I want his side to win, but I'm gonna say Germany really, really has. That's going to be a tough one. You know, I as much as I want Argentina to win with Messi, you know, I have to. It's Germany, you know. They won last year. Unless
But they did. But Argentina did make it to the final, losing to Germany in extra time. So they can get there.
They can. So Messi has to pull out a bunch of hat tricks in order to push them forward.
So if Spain does happen to beat Argentina, do you think Germany will beat Spain, or do you think Spain will beat Germany?
Oh, I think Germany's gonna. If Argentina loses in the quarterfinals, it's gonna be Argentina all the way. Germany. I mean, Germany all the way with Brazil take it. And Brazil take it.
All right, so it looks like we have our predictions. Looks like we have 2, including me, the host. with, of course, Germany going through. But, we'll just have to see what happens. Because we got the good teams. We got Germany. We got Brazil. Yes, Dan, we got Brazil. We have Argentina.
Send us your brackets.
Send us your brackets. Send us your predictions. We like to see those predictions. And we have these two little experts over here. We have more experts. One that refuses to watch because Team USA is not in the World Series. Yes, we're talking about you. World Cup. We're talking about you, Mr. Jimmy, but you're not watching us right now. But, yeah, so send us your predictions. Send us this. So we'll see what happens. We'll probably do this again. Probably about July when we know exactly who's close and what's happening. And then once the jersey comes in, we're going to be like, here you go. Here's your jersey. And bow down to the Almighty.
If you guys send in a bracket and it beats mine and mine beats Pony, I may donate my jersey to you.
There you go.
I mean, we are pretty avid football, or should call it American soccer watchers and players, so we know what we're talking about. So if you guys can beat us, be my guest.
That's right. Maybe we'll bring you on for the 2022 World Cup show.
Woo! Sounds good to me. All right, so we got our predictions. We got our two boards, Will and Pony. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. All right.
So this is Pony.
This is Will.
Signing off.
See ya.
And for everyone that's been watching, I do thank you for watching. And you can check this again, the rest of the video, if you missed it, on YouTube. And check out the Artist Show, which this is part of the Artist Show. So, I am your host, and I do thank you. Lessons learned from the Artist Show.
Y te cae una como estas, ahorita me platicas, te pones nervioso como arquero, y era el responde de León, el servicio parece pasar,
So, what did we learn today? Well, first off, I learned that a can of Vernors does not last an entire episode, and I am addicted to Vernors. I need more Vernors. Secondly, we learned that I somehow have this fetish with stuffed animals, but to go into a good cause. But it's Zootopia and I got a good bargain on them. Well, we also learned you should never hit anyone with pizza.
This Ohio man is facing domestic violence charges after he allegedly hit a woman in the face with a pizza.
No matter how cheesy it sounds. There are no such thing as zombies. Yet, that we know of. And we learned you don't meddle with Russia because there are no more puns that I can say about that. Well, yeah, actually, yes, I can. But I'm not going to go there. And we also learned, and we talked about the best and the best Mr. Rogers neighborhood. 50 years has gone by far. And won't you be my neighbor? And last, who can forget the wonderful experience we had with FIFA World Cup 2018? That was great. I thought it was fantastic. Until next week's episode, thank you guys. You've been great. Catch you on the flip side.